guys, I'm Elizabeth Molina. Many of you may know me as your beauty guru. This is part 2 of the coffee enema series. So in this video, we're going to be talking about how to prepare coffee enemas. And what that's going to entail is really me telling you the tools that you're going to need and how to make it, really. And then the next video, we'll talk about how to set up your space. So first and foremost, again, I want to say that I am not a licensed medical healthcare professional, nor am I trying to be one. I am just simply sharing my experience with coffee enemas and telling you, how I do the coffee enemas. So please let me know if you like it, subscribe below, and let's start. So what you're gonna need first is coffee. So I like to use bulletproof coffee. I usually get the whole bean and grind it in stores, but this is in the middle of a pandemic and the grinders aren't working because they don't have them on, so I just got grounded. But usually I get the whole bean and I grind it because I think it's better. The fresher the better, and then I keep it frozen in the fridge or in the freezer. I buy like 4 of them because I don't want to run out and I hate going back and forth to the store, but that's just me. Anyways, so you're gonna need coffee. You're also going to need an enema kit. So there's this one, which I really like. This is great for like apartments or like for storage, for travel. I've taken this to whenever I travel. I took it to Peru, taken it hiking, just like I take, and no, I don't do this while I'm hiking in a tent, but like when I'm away, I take this one. And then there's this one, it's from the same company. This is another one. This is the one that I started using. But again, if you're in a small apartment, this does take up a lot of space to store, but this is really great because the cleanup is really easy. And then if you don't have access to it, or like you're trying to order it on Amazon, by the way, there's a link below if you want to know where I get all this stuff. If it's gonna take too long to order this or the other one, and you really want to do this because you like can't wait to start aging backwards, you can go to CVS or Walgreens or your local pharmacy and get an enema, a regular enema, and you can empty it out and then you can put your coffee in there and do it. It might take longer, but this is just like if you're in a bind or if you're traveling somewhere, you don't want to take these things because you don't want to lose them. You can always use these, and I think you can use these up to like 2 or 3 times and then you throw them out. They're disposable, but you empty them out or whatnot. And then, so now that we have like the tools, you're also gonna need a coffee strainer. This is actually designed for the coffee enema bucket, so it goes right on there. And you want to always use a metal strainer because you don't want to lose the palmitic acid. It's like a little bit of an oily consistency. You don't want to lose that if you use a cheesecloth or something with a fabric because it'll absorb that. So you want to use the metal where it will strain the coffee beans, but it will not strain, not take away from the oils that you actually want in your body. So that's that. So now that we have those things, you're also going to want to use coconut oil to lube up your butt. And the reason for that is because you don't want to put petroleum or anything that's toxic in there, and coconut oil is pretty safe. You can get it anywhere. If you get organic, better. If you don't have organic, I mean, it's better than using petroleum jelly. Please do not put KY or any type of like kind of lube of that stuff in there because this is going inside, like really inside, and you don't want your body absorbing those toxins because the point of this is to detox, not to retox. So now that we have the coffee, we have the strainer, we have the enema kits, I want to talk about what you're going to need to actually make it. So you're going to need distilled water. And this has like been a really big topic because there have been a lot of videos about people using tap water or using a Brita filter, and I don't recommend that. Again, you want to use sterile water that is filtered but that is distilled. And the reason for distilled is when you distill water, you take away all the properties of it. So it's just, there's no minerals, there are no heavy metals. Like tap water is notoriously, I live in New York, So the tap water in New York contains a lot of fluoride, heavy metal, arsenic. I mean, there's over 3,000 different chemicals in our water, in case you didn't know that. But this is not about water. I just want to tell you that just be aware of these things, because you don't want to, again, you're detoxing, you're not retoxing, because that defeats the whole purpose of it. So you don't want to use tap water, you don't want to use filtered water, because filtered water contains other metals, minerals that you don't want to put in there. You want the water to be pure and not to have any enhancements, so that when you boil the coffee, it actually binds to the water and you have the water that you want to go in there. So that's one thing. So you want to use distilled water. If you can't find distilled water, you can use Penta water, and I'll put a link below so that you can know what I'm talking about, but that's another alternative. Or you can get a water distiller. I happen to have a water distiller, but I also buy the store water. I use Poland Springs distilled water. It's pretty good. It's like 97 cents for a whole gallon. So we have the water, we have the coffee, we have the strainer, we have, the different kinds of enemas you can use. And now we're going to talk about how to, what to make it in, right? So we do not want to use a metal pot, because again, we don't want the metal leaking or leaching into the water. We don't want to put heavy metals in our body. And I don't know if you're aware, but there are a lot of cooking pots that are very toxic for you. And that could be another video that I'll make. If you guys are interested, just comment below. We'll talk about healthy pots and pans to cook with and utensils, because you're putting this in your body. But again, you don't want to cook in that. So what you want to do cook in is in a ceramic pot, or if you don't have that, you can also cook coffee in a pressure cooker, which is pretty cool, like an Instapot. And that actually takes 14 seconds, but I'll tell you that in steps later. You can also use this if you don't have that, if you don't want to boil it, if you just don't want to cook it, and you can use this. So we have the enema kit, we have the coffee, we have the water, we have the strainer, and now we know how to cook it. Now let's get to the actual process. You're going to take water. You're going to take 2 to 4 cups of water. I need water. You're going to take 2 to 4 cups of water. Technically it's recommended to start off with 2 cups, but I start off with 4 cups, and depending on how sensitive you are, so the max you want to do a day is 2 tablespoons, but you want to start off with a teaspoon. So you take 4 cups of distilled water and you put it in either your Instapot, you can put it in your French press, you can put it in your ceramic pot. There's also a link below for that. And you boil the water. So the water starts boiling. When the water comes to a boil, you put it on low. Then you put the coffee in the water. So once it's in there, you stir it. It's on low again. You cover it, you leave a little bit open, and then you put a timer on for 12 minutes. So the water and the coffee have to do its process for 12 minutes on low. So this is the perfect time for the coffee to cook and release its palmitic acid and all its wonderful properties. You don't want to overcook it or undercook it. So once the timer has gone off, that your coffee is simmering on low for 12 minutes, you take it out of the the hot burner, because you don't want it to continue to cook. And I place it by my windowsill where there's a lot of cold air, or I take it to the backyard and I let it cool down. So once it's cooled down, and again, I don't let it get too cold, because you don't want your body to be cold when you're putting it inside of you, because it's a little bit uncomfortable. You want it to be tolerable, and you want it to be pleasant. So I usually put my finger in the water, and when I feel like it's a nice temperature, I bring it back to the sink, and then I take a cup and I strain it. I pour it in the bag, and this is the bag. And let me see. This is how you put it. You put this little tube in here. Okay, it's not going in. Yes, I've got it. So you put this in there, your coffee's filled up, and why I like this, because it comes with a little hook, and you hook it up in your bathroom, and coffee is ready. There are no grounds in here, it's just the liquid. So it probably should be like somewhere around here if you did 4 cups of coffee. So coffee is in there, or in your bucket, or in this guy, depending on what you have. Again, don't stress about not having everything. Use what you have, do what you can. So coffee's in there. Now what happens next? You have there are different hoses that come with this kit. They have 2 replaceables, and I always get extra ones, but I'll show you like the cleanup in a bit, like in the next video. I don't use this head because, I mean, I tested them all out. This guy is just like crazy, too much pressure. But so I like this one. It's soft, it's small, and yeah, so I like this one better. So once your coffee's in your bag, you have it hanging. Also, before you put the coffee in, make sure that this clamp is closed, because you don't want, I've had many girlfriends call me and tell me that they forgot to close this and coffee was just all over the bathroom. It's not a nice cleanup, guys. So make sure that this is clamped down, pour the coffee in. So now that your coffee is in your bag or your bucket, you're going, and this is closed, obviously, you're gonna take the same place where you poured the coffee in. Usually, like I use a jar, actually a glass pitcher. So once the coffee is there, I hang this up. So let's pretend it's hung up. Let's just leave it here. It's hung up, right? And this is closed. We're gonna put the tip in the cup or the jar, wherever you poured it from, and you're gonna release it. And this is because you want there to be no air bubbles here. You do not want to put air in your bum, because you will be farting and it's not comfortable. You don't want to put gas in there. Just like you don't want to put other stuff, you don't want to put gas in your bum while you're doing your coffee enema. So you're gonna wait till it's gonna release the pressure. It goes by itself. You don't have to squeeze this bag or anything. It's gravity. It's a gravity bag. So you open this up until all the coffee starts flowing nicely. And then what's also nice about it is that you'll be able to see the flow of it. So you're not gonna be as scared. I hope you don't get so scared, because you'll see like how it flows, and you can control this. You can make it flow like super fast, or you can play with it. So you can check it out, and then I usually, whatever comes out, I usually put it back in, because I'm like so stingy with my coffee. It's like liquid gold for me, so I don't waste one drop. I usually take whatever comes out and I put it back in, not after I use it obviously, but before. So we have that. You have that pretty much. So that's basically how you prepare the coffee. That's how you set it up in your bag. Again, I'm gonna say quickly, you boil the 4 cups of water, you put in your teaspoon, depending on how sensitive you are. The most that is recommended to use in one day is 2 tablespoons. If you feel brave enough to do it, that's on you. But I personally do about 3 tablespoons, but I have been doing this for 2 years. So in the beginning, I did half a tablespoon in 4 cups of water, and that was pretty powerful for me. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was pretty clear on how to prepare the coffee enema, and please join and subscribe. Thank you.